There's a smile that all Indian chess fans love to see, and this is the one. That's Vishy Anand performing amazingly well at the Croatia Grand Chess Tour. He finished clear second with 21 points behind MVL, ahead of Giri, Nepo, Jan Christoph Duda, Mamedyarov, and all the best in the world. What a fantastic performance by Vishy at the age of 51 years. It was simply phenomenal to see him on the last day of Blitz, where he didn't lose a single game. He scored 6.5 points, 4 wins, and 5 draws out of 9 rounds. And it was a tough choice for me to choose my best game of the day. But eventually, I chose the one against Jan Nepomnichtchi, the World Championship challenger, because Jan is such a fantastic chess player. That's Nepo, and we'll go through this game. Also, just to look at one of the pictures of Anand, look at that intensity, amazing pictures by Lennart Ootes. Let's get to the game and try to see how did Vishy manage to beat such a strong opponent like Yan. Okay, so Anand is playing with the white pieces and opens the game with 1 e4. Yan responds with Sicilian, knight f3, e6, d4, takes, knight c6, knight to c3, and a6. So Nepo has been trying to revive this line. It was an old line. Modern, everyone likes to play queen c7, the Taimanov, and then a6. But Nepo says, okay, I can keep my queen flexible. Vishy took the knight, pawn takes, queen f3, d5, and queen g3. Now, this position has been played before. Anish has played this with white against Nepo, where black played d4. And Nakamura also played this with white against Nepo, where he had gone f5. And a very, very weird move, but this was played against Nakamura by Nepo. And so Anand was very well prepared. He blitzed out ef, and bishop f4. Now, bg5 was played in this game between Nakamura and Nepo. And in the end, it ended in a draw. But bishop f4 was Vishy's move. One of the things about being a professional chess player is keeping yourself updated with modern games. Modern games, in the sense, the games that are happening in Champions Chess Tour, which happen in any major event where your competitors will play, and you need to have ideas against them. And the fact that Vishy was blitzing out these moves clearly shows that he is still a hardcore professional who's working on his game, trying to figure out what he should do to the new ideas that his opponents are coming up with. Knight f6 by Nepo, bishop e2, and rook a7. The rook very creatively wants to swing over to e7, Vishy castles. And just an initial look at this position will convince you that white is doing very well out of the opening. He has all his pieces developed. Black has certain weaknesses in the position, but Nepo is very ambitious. He says, you see weaknesses, I see space, I see center control. And so he tries to again make a very nice move, king f7. It's a weird move, but very interesting. After rook a d1, he played pawn to h6. He wants to play g5. Anand put his bishop on e5, pawn to g5, rook f e1, bishop g7. And here I was thinking, like, even before rook f e1, like here, if Anand wanted to punish this system, he could have gone queen e3, looking at this rook, and the most natural move is rook e7. But then after takes, you can't take the queen because d8 was hanging, queen d4 check, rook e5. You can feel that something's going wrong, g3 f4, this king is on f6. So Nepo's play could have been punished with more energetic play, but in Blitz, it's really very difficult. So Anand played it simple. Bishop d4, good move, because black was already threatening stuff like knight e4. So bd4, rook e8, takes, queen d3. And now perhaps knight g4 was the move that would have given around about even position for black. The game is still very interesting. But Nepo went f4. And now Anand realized that he has to, clamp down the c5 square. And so he played a3, knight a4. Idea of a3 was to play b4, which was stopped. Knight a4, bishop g4, f3. And here I was surprised by Nepo's decision, which was bishop d7. I felt that he should have gone bishop h5. Maybe he was afraid that this c6 pawn is a weakness, but after queen c3, g4 is already very strong. You're getting a lot of counterplay flowing here. But again, it's a computer line. Like you see, you take here gf3, bishop f6, and now the d5 pawn is hanging. But then f2. If you take the pawn, then queen e3 is a mate. So king h1 and now queen e1. And black is better. But these lines are not so easy to spot, like queen d5. You have to go king g6, and computers do it well, but not human beings. So Nepo went bishop d7 and Vishy put his knight on c5 is now better. Bishop c8, queen to c3, g4, and now came a very nice move. Try to think, what should white do in this position? Well, if you found the move knight to d3, brilliant job. The point is, if he takes, you want to give a check to the black king, and then let's say king g8, you take back with the knight. And Anand is totally better because f4 is weak, c6 is weak, everything is falling apart. But when he took on f3, Vishy instantly recaptured gf3, and now black has a lot of play. He went knight d7, perhaps knight h5 was better, but knight d7, Vishy took, and now queen e3 check followed by rook g8 was a better idea. But he played directly rook g8, and now Anand played king h1, which is a good move, but better was bishop g2 blocking the check, takes, and queen takes c6. When after queen g5, both rook d2 and knight e1 are completely winning for white. But king h1, rook g7, queen takes c6, queen g5, and now bishop h3, stopping the mate here. There is also chances of a mate happening on g2, so bishop right now controls it. Knight b6, very good move by Nepo. He is threatening that if you take the bishop, I'll mate you here. So time for you to think here, what should white do? Now, if you came up with the move bishop g4, amazing. That was the move that Vishy played, and it's a tremendous move. Also, queen b6 is working. You have to spot that after bishop h3, there is a check. And if he goes on the f file, then there is queen f4, and it's winning. So king g8, and now the only move is to take. King takes, rook g1, pinning, king f6, rook takes, and pawn takes. And here, perhaps it's a draw. So bg4 is clearly the strongest move. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and now the king is safe, and you cannot take on g4 because there is knight e5 check. Also, please notice that here h5 is very too slow, because after queen b6, hg4, you are still not threatening a mate, and I can just give a check and pick up this, pawn on f4, or even the bishop on c8. So bishop g4 was taken by Nepo, pawn takes, and now king g8. And now Anand could have played h3, but it's difficult to play such moves in Blitz. He played knight to f2 here. Clearly, if you took the knight on b6, then after queen g4, it's black who's winning. So knight f2, defending the pawn on g4, rook g6, queen e8, king h7. And now a very good move would have been, try to think what would you play here as white. This is ultra prophylaxis, and try to put yourself in Anand's shoes. There is very little time on the clock. There's a lot of pressure. Can you find this move? I mean, I find it very difficult. The move is b3, stopping knight c4. But in the middle of this such a complex position, the most natural move is always rook e1, because you want to give a check here. And Nepo kind of blinked with rook g7. he should have realized that a rook e7 can be met with rook g7 when black is fine. So time to activate the knight with knight c4. And I think black would have held here. I mean, he's doing okay. But rook g7, now b3 by Anand, very alert. He found that move. Knight d7, queen e6, knight to f6. Vishy went for a attack on the queen. Queen g6. And now he played the move queen f5. Perhaps h3, keeping everything defended, was the best way to continue. But queen f5. And now let's say if you trade the queens, gf5 and rook c7, the position is around equal. If you if you take with the rook, knight g4, knight g4, rook g4, rook d5. Okay, you are a pawn up, but after f3, the chances of this game ending in a draw are pretty high. That's the reason why after he should have taken the queen, black. But when Nepo played rook c7, he thought if Vishy takes now, I would even get a better version because my rook is active. But Vishy said, now I'm not taking. He takes on f4. Very good decision. Rook c2, rook e7 check, pushing the king away. And now rook e6, pinning the knight. He had to come up. And again, calm move h3. Okay, the best move here is h4, kind of stopping queen g5 and completely tying up black. Queen e5, rook e7 next is the idea. But h3, Nepo had to play queen g5. But he went queen f7, and now Anand found queen e5 because if you take the knight, there is rook e7 winning the queen. Queen f8 was played, check, king here, check. Even if you went king here on h8, there are many ways to win. Simplest is knight d3, but also rook b7 with the idea of rook b8 is a very strong one. So king g8 check. Now rook f7 came in, and here Nepo is losing his knight. So he gave up the queen, took the knight, but Anand was very alert. He finished off the game very cleanly. He took the pawn, king g2, and here Jan Nepomnichtchi resigned the game, and with this Vishy won against one of the best blitz players in the world of chess and also the world championship challenger. Truly shows that Vishy is timeless, Vishy is evergreen, and really he is a legend. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.